Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We're going to be getting ready. Also, this is kind of an Ulta haul as well. And yeah, so this is a lot. Okay, we're going to get ready. We're going to chat. I'm going to try out products that I've used already once, but they were new to me at the time. So yeah, I'm going to talk about those. And it's kind of an Ulta haul because I'm going to tell you all the stuff that I got at Ulta, which I'm not going to lie. I spent a pretty penny on this stuff. All right, I'm going to be using the ABH Anastasia Beverly Hills Luminous Foundation. I had never tried this. I love Luminous things. So I picked it up the other day at Ulta. I really like it. I think it's a really nice foundation. Sorry if I look like I just woke up because I did. Oh. It just camel spit everywhere, and that's the first time it's done that. I will say I don't love the pump on this. It's not the best. This is a Sonia Kashuk sponge from, and I'm sorry if you can see the back of this, but guys, I need to be able to see. From Target. I picked this up just wanting to try it. I saw it. Honestly, the black and the white marble print is what caught my attention. And this sponge is amazing. Do you see how big this gets when it gets wet? Also, this is not the original one I had. I accidentally left my filming room door open, and I left it open not thinking that the chair was pulled out, because normally if this chair is pushed in, I don't have an issue, but the chair was not pushed in, it was pulled out, which meant that little Rosie was able to get up on my desk and steal all my makeup sponges. Sorry, it's hard to talk when you're... She stole all my makeup sponges. I was able to find all of them except for the one that looks like this. I have no idea where it went. I'm torn between thinking that the dogs ate it, but I don't know how they would have time to tear it up and eat it. I was in Max's room talking to my mom, and the door was closed while they were doing it, but I was not in there that long. And I've been looking at their poop to see if they're pooping out sponge. I mean, I know that's TMI, but nobody's pooping out sponge. So now I'm like, where is the sponge? I have no idea. If I find it, I will let you guys know. Do you see how nice this foundation is? It is so pretty. I love how it looks. It just looks so good. All right, another thing I picked up, and this is the mini version, is the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer. I had never tried this concealer. I just thought it was overhyped. There was a time period when every beauty person on YouTube that's like all they used, you know? And so I was like, all right, I'm looking for a new concealer. Let's try something different. So I grabbed this one, and I'm going to go back and get the full size whenever this one is done, because this is an amazing concealer. I got the shade Light 1.25. I would like a shade darker just because it is a little light when I'm like self-tanned and stuff, but it blends out so nicely that it's not a problem. And down here on my cheeks, I'm using this where I blended out my foundation to do that. I want it to be lighter down here, but not like white. But this blends out so nicely. It is a little pricey. That's why I went ahead and got the mini, because I was like, all right, if I can try out a mini version, I would much rather do that than try out, you know, the full size. And if I hate it, then I'm stuck with a full size concealer. I wish And I know that it would be a lot of packaging and it may not be cost effective at all, but I wish all makeup brands made small sample sizes that you could sell right beside the full-size product, but you could just get it and use it for a little bit. And I'm not talking about like going to Sephora and saying, can I get a sample of that? Because let's face it, my experience with going into Sephora and asking for stuff like that, they just seem annoyed. I don't know if that's just the Sephoras I've been in. They just, I don't know, they just don't seem too jazzed about it. And I would love just to be able to buy little samples in little sample containers of everything before I try, before I buy it, because I like to try it out several different times before I actually commit to purchasing it. All right. I also picked out this ABH cream bronzer. I just realized my phone's not on silent, so we're going to do that real quick. And we're just going to put on vibrate, actually. So I grabbed the ABH cream bronzer, and I got it in the shade Amber. The shade is a little, it's a good shade, but it's a little orange for me. And I know you might be saying like it's a bronzer, but I don't know. I just wish it were a little bit more of a neutral tone. But the product overall is nice. I say use it very sparingly. I need to like go out and find some more cream bronzers to try out, because I really love using cream products. They just look more natural, especially the older I get. They just look better on my skin as opposed to a bunch of powder products. I've already become somebody that is just hands down only into cream blush. Like, I don't know where I ever went to the powder realm. Cream products weren't as popular years ago, but I'm so glad that they're a thing now. If you have not tried cream blush as opposed to powder blush, I keep saying brush, you've got to. To me, it lasts longer. I have so many blushes that are powder that are beautiful, but they disappear on my face sometimes. Anyways, what I was saying before is if it looked like I was half asleep whenever I first sat down, it's because I was. I slept on my neck wrong, and so it hurts to like turn my head this way. And so when I got back from dropping the kids off at school, I got the heating pad out, plugged it in, and I laid down on the couch to like just let the heating pad heat up my neck, hopefully loosen it up, which it did. It is a lot looser, but I fell asleep, which is fine. I took a little nappy poo, and we're good to go. But here's the cream bronzer. I just use it in a very sparing, natural way. I need to decide if I'm gonna, some of the stuff I'm taking out of the boxes, and some I'm not. I'm gonna end up throwing away product. Okay, next up, I'm gonna talk about this Fenty product. I had never used any Fenty products. I'm not somebody that jumps on board as soon as brands come out and I'm like, oh, let me spend all of my money. No. So, I hadn't tried any Fenty stuff, but while I was in Ulta, I was like, you know what? Let's do it. So, I grabbed a cream blush because I love them, and I got Summertime Wine. And it's a beautiful color. It's very intimidating. I'm not going to lie. I was looking at the like swatches, It didn't look nearly this dark, and when I opened it up, I was like, oh my gosh. But it blends out really nicely, and it's a really pretty color. I say just use a little bit at a time. Don't just like go in and go crazy. Just use a little bit at a time. And I have been crazy over blush lately. I kind of like bringing it up to my eye, going underneath the outside of my eye, just blushing it up. And I am going to build it so there will be more color. I just don't want to go in too heavy-handed, because then you might get a little bit too much. It's easier to add products than it is to take it away. Taking it away usually involves a mess. So, and we're going to go in with a little bit more. See how it's building up? I have a feeling these cream blushes would probably last a long, long time. I've used this maybe 3 or 4 times now since I picked it up. And I like to put some across the bridge of my nose and the tip of my nose, kind of look like a little sun-kissed moment. I've used this 3 or 4 times and it doesn't look like I've used it, aside from the fact that my brush is getting it on the packaging on the outside. I will say this though, this is a little pricey, and I still say the LYS cream blushes are just as good. They last just as long. The color payoff is just as good. Yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and tell you now, if you don't want to splurge on this, because I think this was like $32. Like, I'm not even shitting you. Like, it's very small. It's small. It's like, and I think it was like $32. So if you don't want to splurge on that, I totally understand. It kind of killed me to do it. When I knew that my LYS blushes were sitting here at my house perfectly good, I will say one thing. This powder, this is a Fenty powder, and I got the lavender one. I don't know why. There was just something about the lavender. I was like, all right, I know that's got to be brightening. The packaging, beautiful. Like, you can't go wrong. It's not like straight up purple. Don't worry about that. But if you're lighter complected, I say just go ahead and go for the lavender. And I take some on my sponge, and I'm just going to do the inner corner. It does have a scent, I will tell you that. And then I'm going to do my eyelid, because I don't like having wet foundation or whatever on my eyelids when I do my eyeshadow. Do you see the difference in the two? Like, I can see the difference. I don't know if you can. But this powder is really beautiful, and I don't use a ton of it. So this is going to last me quite some time, and it does have a scent, I will tell you. It's got to be this powder. Hold on. I'm really stuffy right now, so it's hard. It's got to be the powder. Something has a scent. Something I've used has a scent. It's either the Nars concealer, the ABH foundation, or this powder, because the sponge smells like it, but I can't tell what it is. I will just tell you this. It's a faint scent, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. But it's just like this faint scent. I can smell it. I am going to take just a tiny bit of this. I'm going to set my smile lines. And if it like flattens them out so you can get to them. And then I'm just kind of dabbing my face. I'm not getting any extra powder. This powder is going to last me an absolute lifetime. I'm going to be able to hand this down to my grandchildren. Don't put that back in there. You're going to throw it away. Jesus. Got too much going on. Now, I will take the blush brush and just kind of go over. And I'm going to be honest, I'll probably apply a little bit more blush in a minute when I'm done with my makeup. Just because I've been into blush. Another thing I picked up is this Jaclyn Hill X Morphe Divine Neutrals palette. Say what you want about Jaclyn. It is what it is. She's her color choices for eyeshadows are very much my own. And so when she makes a palette, I like the color. I like the color stories that she goes with. And this one is neutrals. I mean, how could you go wrong? It's beautiful. Okay, look at those. They're beautiful. The top row is just a matte. The bottom is like a pressed shimmer, pressed. I don't think it's pressed glitter. Let me see. It's just like a shimmer eyeshadow. There's nowhere on here where it says like pressed glitter or anything. Because I know it kind of kills me. I think it's ColourPop that's bad about doing it. They'll put pressed glitter in their palettes and then tell you shouldn't use them near your eyes. And I'm like, what the hell am I going to use it for? Another thing that I picked up, and I'm not going to put this on my face, obviously, but while I was in Ulta, I picked this up and I'm going to just go ahead and tell you about it, is the Velvet Coffee Shea Sugar Scrub from Tree Hut. It smells like a frosted coffee from Chick-fil-A, and now I feel like I need one. Yeah, I have a serious issue. And another thing I picked up, this is the last thing I'm going to talk about, and then I'm going to do my eyeshadow, is the Ordinary's. The Ordinary came out with a lash serum. I don't know if they've had it, if this is new, but I happen to see it. And it's a multi-peptide lash and brow serum. It says it has a multi-technology serum to promote the look of thicker, fuller, and healthier lashes and brows. I've been using this. Obviously, I cannot tell you right off the bat, like, hey, this is great. I'm going to have to use it for a little while, but so far I really like it. It's only like $14.95. Way cheaper than any other lash product I've used. I really like The Ordinary. I trust their products. So as soon as I saw it, I was like, get in my bag. I'm going to cut the camera real quick and do my brows, and then I'm going to come right back and we're going to do the eyes. Okay, so I'll be right back. I wish when my brows were being formed in the womb, they had like, I don't know, talk to each other about like a planned shape that they were going to go for, instead of one of them having a higher arch than the other and them just being like, hey, we're not cousins, we're definitely not sisters, we are like best friends that the other one slept with the other one's boyfriend and now they don't even speak. That is my brows. I have used this palette once already. If you are somebody that hates Morphe shadows, then obviously you're going to hate it. I feel like there are some people that just hate Morphe to hate Morphe. Like, they're like, no, I hate Morphe because I hate Morphe. They're alright. I don't specifically go out saying, hey, let me grab Morphe products. I just saw this palette as I was walking to the checkout, and I was like, that's pretty. I definitely need another neutral palette. Let's grab it. No, I got it because it's such a neutral palette. It's just browns. And a lot of the palettes I've been getting lately are pinks. And I was like, let's get this neutral palette. And I really like it. I just went in with Just Barely and just kind of washed that over the lid, the upper eyelid, and just blended it out. It matches my skin tone quite a bit. Then I'm going to go in with the next darkest shade, which is Good Vibes. You can see, kind of dab any extra off, and then I'm going to stay closer to the crease in the outside with this one. It's not super dark, but you know, I don't want to focus it up as much. And that's just what I'm doing. And then I'm going to do it on both sides, and then I'm going to take one of the darker brown colors and I'm going to focus it on the outside portion of my eyelid and blend it out, and then we're going to be done with the eye look. Something simple and easy. I don't want to go too crazy. There's a very dark brown in here. It's called Cinnamon Roll, and it is a very nice dark brown. But I like to reserve my super dark brown eye looks for fall, which is coming up very soon. So I still want to keep it light and bright and summery for now. So you can build this up. The Good Vibes color is a really nice color. it builds up really nicely. See, you can see just like a little bit faint like shadow in the crease. Guys, my kids have been in school, let's see, yesterday would have been one whole week that they were in school, because they started on a Tuesday. Yesterday was Tuesday. One of them has brought home some kind of germ, and it has us all super, we're snotty. We are a snotty gang now. None of us have fever, and I wouldn't say that we're like sick, but definitely like runny nose, blowing the nose a lot, stuff like that, which could be the seasons changing, I guess, like that time of year, but also it could be some funky germs that came home from school. You know how it goes. This morning, Sophia's throat was a little sore, probably because she had drainage overnight or whatever. So I told her, I was like, you're going to have to get up, get moving around, drink some water, brush your teeth, all that stuff. And then we will talk about, you know, what's up. Because when I just used Boo Bear on the outside, just the little outside portion, just to give a little something, and then I'm going to take a flat brush and I'm going to go in with Chic Happiness and All Luxe, these two lightest shades, and I'm just going to put them like on the inside. When I was at back to school night, there was a slideshow, I can't talk today, presentation that talked about, I can't remember the exact statistics, but your kid missing like 2 or 3 days of school is the equivalent of missing like way more than that. And I never thought of it that way. Like, oh, your kid misses 1 day of school, but they're missing so much. And just like talking about how long it takes for them to get caught back up just for missing like a few days of school is insane. So I am determined that these little heathens are not going to miss school unless absolutely necessary. I mean, obviously if they're sick, and when I say sick, I'm talking about like running a fever, that sort of thing. Not just like, oh, I don't feel good. Because I remember when I was a kid, and I would play hooky in a heartbeat. I'd be like, Mom, I don't feel good. And she'd be like, let me get the thermometer. And I would just be sitting there praying that thing would be a little bit elevated so I could plead my case. Because I didn't want to go to school. That's that on that. And so I don't want them missing school unless they absolutely are sick, you know? In the past, I was just kind of like, oh, my neck. I was just kind of like, oh, well, not the end of the world, you know, yada, yada, yada. But now, knowing that, I didn't realize that missing a couple of days of school was them missing so much. Like, I understand they're missing work, but I didn't think about the fact that if they miss 3 days of school, when they go back, they not only have to make up the 3 days of school work, but they also have to catch back up to the other kids in the class and get right back to doing work. So that's a lot on their plate. I didn't think about it like that, to be completely honest. I just didn't. I was going to do a winged liner, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this cinnamon roll color and an angled brush, and I'm just going to do like an eyeshadow liner type situation. But I don't know. I just remember one time, I don't remember exactly how old I was. I would say maybe grade school. I don't think it was junior high yet, so maybe 6th grade, somewhere in there. I was sick. I had like a lung infection, and I was on steroids, and I also had fluid on one of my ears. And I couldn't even like stand up. I was so because the fluid on my ear had me off balance and stuff. So I couldn't even like stand up really and walk. I was so dizzy. I was so sick. I just felt so terrible. And so obviously I had to miss school. If you can't even stand up straight, how can you go to school? And I just remember I missed an entire week, maybe even more. And I think halfway through, my mom went to the school and got my schoolwork that I had to make up. And I just remember sitting on the weekend before I was going back to school and just having all of this work, which, I mean, I got it done because I was always like an overachiever when it came to school. I never wanted to not have my homework done, all that stuff. Yeah. I also remember during this sickness, my parents still went to church and left me home while they went to church. The church was just like not far from our house. And they left me home while they went to church. And I remember having to pee. And I couldn't walk because I was so dizzy. So I remember crawling on my hands and knees to the bathroom. Oh. And nobody hated on my parents. Like, they assumed I was gonna sleep the entire time. I was fine. I was fine. Kids nowadays don't even know what it's like to be. I guess I was part of the latchkey group because I rode the bus home and I unlocked the door and I let myself in, and if I was hungry, I made some food. And during the summer, my parents worked and I stayed home. Yeah, so I guess I'm part of the latchkey kids that nowadays, I don't know what the age limit is for being able to leave your child home alone, but nowadays my parents would have had Child Protective Services called on them because their kid was home alone. But I was perfectly fine, and it made me very independent. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell you now. All of us out there that grew up getting off the bus, unlocking the door, having to keep up with your house keys at school, going in, you knew, like, if somebody comes knocking at the door, don't you answer that door. You won't get murdered. You better stop, drop, and hide. I remember people would, like, knock on the door, and I don't care if my parents knew you, I ain't answering the door. Unless my parent called me and said, hey, so-and-so's coming over, let them in. That wasn't gonna happen. You wouldn't come up in my house. And now, it's funny. I know kids still, things happen to children. When I was younger, I feel like it happens more now than it did then. And there were, I'd say, pretty much every day once school got out, the majority of the houses around my town had kids in them that were unattended for hours until their parents got home from work. That's just how it was. I remember one time, because I stayed home during the summer, and this is before I could drive, but I'd say I was probably like 13 or so. And I was always that girl that was on the phone with someone. We had really good cordless phones. And so I could walk around outside my house and still be able to talk on my cordless phone. And so I would walk up and down my driveway, which we had a long driveway. I would walk up and down the driveway and be just jabbering on the phone. And I was making brownies. And I forgot that I was making brownies until I walked in and it was kind of smoky. And I realized, oh no, I was making brownies and I had burnt them to little bricks. So I live to tell about it. I need some good lip combos. I am on the struggle bus when it comes to lips right now. I normally have like that lip combo that I just can't get enough of, but right now I'm just like nothing's doing it for me. Yeah. I need some lip combo inspo. These things are great though. These little powder puff lippies from NYX. I don't even know if they still make these. I'm assuming they do. These are great because it stays on, but it's like really lightweight, not too sticky or anything like that. So if you're somebody that wants like a matte liquid lip type situation, but you don't want it to feel like your lips are like cracky and dry, that's the lip product for you. Look at how long this hair's getting, guys. Like, what the heck? What do y'all, like, look at this. It's getting so long. I am loving it. It is feeling so good. I washed it last night. That vibrate. My phone vibrated and it was on top of these tweezers, so it sounded like somebody was like, meh. Anyways, guys, that concludes this look. We used some new products. I chatted about some new products. I told you guys I was going to get some new stuff, and so I wasn't using the same thing over and over and over in these Get Ready With Me's. You need this sponge. Go get it. It's $5 for one, or you can buy a 2-pack for $7. I bought the 2-pack, and I'm just going to put the other one away. So when I need a new sponge, I can look how big this thing is. It is massive. I like how big it is because you can really get in there with your foundation and bam, you're done really quick. Let's just hope I don't have a dog eat that one. All these products are really, really good. The only one that is a meh for me is the ABH Cream Bronzer, and that's just because I don't love the tone, but it still performs really well. And I think it's because I'm expecting more of like a cream contour, not a bronzer. So I just need to get my head around the fact that it's not a contour, it's a bronzer, and we'll be good. But I love you guys. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so before you go, and I will see you next week. Bye.